And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Here, Lucas from Mars, back again with the season finale here of Year 1 in this Miami Marlins franchise. We have the regular season finale here. The Marlins go into this game 88 and 73 record-wise on the season. Looking for a split against these Milwaukee Brewers who go in 78 and 83. So kind of mirror records there a little bit. But either way, the Mariners looking to end their season up with a win and enter the playoffs with some momentum. They'll be playing Atlanta in the postseason in the wildcard game. But for the Brewers, whose season is over at this point, Alec Benninger on the mound for them, and not been very good in 122 innings this season for them. A 5.6 ERA for him. As John Birdie is leading off for Miami here, and he will swing and ground the fifth pitch of the game to the shortstop for an out. Right out of the gate here. One down. Now here's Jazz Chisholm, 231, 15 home runs, and 43 RBIs for him on the season. And of course, we'll do a stat recap as well after this game is done with here today. But that's a fly ball into left field. That is caught for an out. So, nothing going on there for the offense for Miami in that first inning. Now I go to the bottom half of the first inning, and there's Sandy Alcantara, his final start of the year, 32 on the season for him, and a 12-7 record, a 2.90 ERA, 208 innings for him, and 1.20 WHIP. One of the better pitchers on our staff this season. Christian Yelich actually not a terrible season for him, batting basically 250 on the year. As that ball is stopped by Birdie, but Yelich pretty speedy, and he will beat out the throw to first base. So the Brewers here have a base runner immediately in this first inning. Now Bryce Terang is up here, and this pitch is a stolen base attempt for Yelich, and Christian Yelich is going to be safe right there. 26 of them on the year for Christian Yelich. So he's now at second base. 2-2 to Bryce Terang is on the corner. A sinker for strike 3. Great pitch by Alcantara right there. And so now it's Luis Urias here, and he's going to foul this curveball back behind him. And Urias 263, average 16 home runs and 49 RBIs this season for him. And he was an all-star in this season apparently. As here's a 2-1. Yelich is going to third base, and the throw by Stallings goes over past the third baseman and into the outfield, and Christian Yelich is going to score from third base. So that's going to be a stolen base and then an error on Jacob Stallings to bring home a run, and Milwaukee scores the first runs of the game. They're up 1-0. Here in this first inning now, and the next pitch to Urias is going to be a fly ball, shallow or pretty relatively even right field there. J.J. Bleday does make the catch to get the out, but man, that was not what we wanted to see for Miami. So an error leads to a run. There's the Brewers lineup. You got Yelich there, Terang, Luis Urias on a run for only batting 199. Tyrone Taylor, Colton Wong, Lorenzo Cain, Jock Peterson, and Jackson Reed. So not an amazing lineup there for Milwaukee here. It should be a pretty decent day for Alcantara. That run will not be earned. I don't believe that run will be earned or charged to Alcantara, as that's a running play made by Alcantara there by Bradley, throws it to the pitcher. So that'll end the first inning, but Milwaukee gets on with the hits, and they come in and score on the throwing error by Jacob Stallings. So we go to the top of the second inning, and here is Jorge Soler. I mean, he's having a great season right now. 257 average, 846 OPS, 41 home runs, and 106 ribbies. That's third in the National League. See if he can add on to any of those totals here in the final game of the season for him. He is late on that fastball, though, and swings right through it for a strikeout. Now it's Garrett Cooper. Batting 270 on the season this year. That's a swing and a miss on a slider way outside and a little low as well. So we get another look at that pitch, and yeah, not a great one to swing at by Garrett Cooper there. way below the zone and no chance to make contact with it. So now 2 down in the inning. And here's J.J. Bleday, and he fouls this pitch back. Bleday only batting .213 since we have called him up. He's been playing for, a little over a couple of months now, really, since the trade deadline. He's been on the roster, and that's a ground ball into the outfield there, into right, or into left, for a single. So he does get on there with 2 down in this second inning, and here now is Bobby Bradley, as Bradley's going to swing at the first pitch here. It's a drive out to center field. At the wall is a center fielder, and that ball is gone. Off the wall in the batter's eye. Bobby Bradley with his 11th home run of the year. And it is a 2-1 lead for Miami. As a Kepler 2-out knocks lead to some runs. And Bobby Bradley continues what has been an excellent campaign since he got traded for by Miami. That was, again, we got him in the Jesus Aguilar trade at the trade deadline this year. That's a ball that is taken for strike 1 to Jacob Stallings. .268 average is not bad, but only 6 home runs and 27 RBIs, so kind of low totals in that respect here for him. But now the 0-1 is a ground ball, and it's stopped by Benninger, and he will make the play to throw it to first base. So that on the second inning, but Bobby Bradley coming through again with a home run. As we get one more look at that swing right there to drive it out. 3 hits, 2 runs now for the Marlins. 2-1 game. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Here's Lorenzo Cain, and Cain is going to foul the slider off. Cain this season only batting .229 in total. 22 runs scored, 11 stolen bases for him. Not a great season from Lorenzo Cain. He's got a man on here, though, in this at-bat. There's a swing, and there's a drive. That ball will fall in for extra bases as Bobby Bradley on his horse to get it. They're not going to test the runner there. They're going to hold the guy at third base. I'm not sure who else is on base, but Lorenzo Cain with his 21st double of the season, and now Jackson Reitz comes to the plate. .269 average, no homers, only 16 ribbies for him. There's a swing and a miss, though, on a slider. And Alcantara pumped up because he got out of that inning without any runs scored. Man, a walk, I think, and a double. 2 runners in scoring position, and the Milwaukee Brewers do not score in the second. So Miami still controlling a 2-1 lead as we go to the third. Here is Jacob Stallings at the plate, and Jacob Stallings launches one into center field for a base hit. That was absolutely crushed right there by Jesus Sanchez. So base runner now for Jazz Chisholm. And now Jazz Chisholm is going to hit swing, and that ball is going to fall into the gap. It's going to go all the way to the wall. A little bit of a base running blunder there by Sanchez. I don't know why. I thought I was sending him to third base, but they went back to second for some reason there. 30th double of the year for Jazz Chisholm. And then there's a swing, and that ball's falling in for a base hit. So 1 run will score, and Jazz Chisholm is thrown out at home plate, unfortunately. But Miami does add a run. 3-1 ball game. I believe that was Jorge Soler there getting that RBI. And so he will add on to his RBI total, but will not get that second run there. As, man, I could have seen, Jazz Chisholm maybe should have slid in there a little bit differently. But either way, 3-1 game now. There's a fly ball by Bleday into center field. And that one is caught to end the top of the third inning. But a good offensive showing here so far through 3 innings for Miami. They got 7 hits already and 3 runs. Now almost 4. With Chaz being cut down at home. So I go bottom 3. 3-1 game. There's Christian Yelich up again. 1 for 1 again with that single last time up for him. And there's a drive into the outfield here. And that ball is going to fall in and bounce off the wall. And so Christian Yelich is going to have himself an extra base knock. There's a double into the right field gap. And 20th of the season for him. As 2-2 is going to miss inside. Luis Urias sitting on deck. Again, count full to Bryce Turang now. Big pitch here for Alcantara. 3-2 at the top of the zone, and it's a sinker for strike 3. Third one for Alcantara. Chiré, man, he's shaking his head why he didn't swing at that ball. As that one gets behind Stallings, and up to third goes Yelich. So again, using that speed of Christian Yelich here in this first few innings. Now he's at third base with a wild pitch. There's a ground ball, and that will get through into right and to J.J. Bleday. So Yelich will score again for his second time tonight. Luis Urias gets his 50th ribby of the year, and it's a one-run game. So again, a good swing right there by Urias, just getting it right in between that hole between the first and the second baseman. There's a swing and a miss. Hunter Renfroe is out on that one. Great pitch right here by Alcantara. We look at the StatCast data, and 3 sinkers to start off the at-bat, and then finish it off with a nasty slider. Great pitch sequence there by Alcantara. Now 2-2. That ball's in the dirt by Jacob Stallings. Oh, he covers nicely and is able to easily get the runner. Luis Urias trying to go to second base there, but Miami does score here in this third inning off of that base hit by Urias, and it's a one-run game as we go to the fourth. So a 3-2 game. Here's now Bobby Bradley up again. Has that home run, a 2-run homer already in his last at bat. Back in the second inning, and he's leading off the fourth already here. 0-1 to Bradley. Is a swing and a drive and a left field. That one's deep. That ball is off of the scoreboard up there and gone. It's another homer for Bradley. Another multi-homer game. He had one his first time in the first game that he was called up. I believe that's his third, maybe his third multi-homer game of the season. And it's a 4-2 game for Miami here. They go up by 2. And man, Bobby Bradley just continues to show off his excellent power. Wow, 381 there on the distance to left field. I believe that is, I know that's the second time that we played with him where he's had a multi-homer game. I think he's done it, I think he might have done it earlier in this season too, but man, 12 home runs for him, basically in only 2 months of the season. So man, he has been excellent, and showing off that power is certainly going to be a starter on this lineup going forward next year. He's proven that much. As now it's a 2-run lead for Miami. Go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Full count here, and Alcantara is going to get a strikeout on a slider basically right down the middle. But Alcantara's got 5 Ks now. Nothing else happens in that inning. We go to the top of the 5th inning now, and that ball will get through for another hit for Jazz Chisholm today. That's his second one of the game, and that actually is going to mark the end of the night for the pitcher. I can't even remember who it is for Milwaukee, but there's Aaron Ashby coming out of the bullpen, and 43.2 innings for him. He's been pretty decent, but definitely not a good start by the starter that they had in before for Milwaukee. That strike 3 called on Jorge Soler there at a good pitch. Right on the outside corner. Soler trying to walk to first base like it did not catch the zone, but it certainly did. Now with 2 outs, here's J.J. Bleday, and J.J. Bleday is going to swing and miss an inside pitch there for strike 3. A couple more base runners by Miami. They have 10 hits already, and halfway through in this game, 4-2 lead. 2 down in the 5th inning. Bryce Terang here is going to ground it up the middle, and Bernie went over to second base to cover the bag, and it actually is going to end up in center field. So that ended up being a not really a blunder, because he was supposed to go to second base there, but it doesn't work out for the Marlins. There's a swing and a miss though by Luis Urias, and Alcantara is able to recover, and he is fired up with that big strikeout. So another clean inning there. Not really clean, I guess, but another scoreless inning put up by Alcantara. 6 hits for Milwaukee, but they still trail it 4-2 as we go to the 6th. So here's Bobby Bradley. I guess what he's done today, well, he's homered twice already. Let's see what he does in his third at bat here. And Ashby's still pitching, and that sinker misses for ball 4. Maybe that's better than pitching to him at this point in this ball game, as he's already taken it deep a couple of times. Now here's Corey Lee, 1 for 2. He's got a single already today. He is 3 for 9 in this series. 3-1 is inside, and that one's low and inside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks. Here I've opened up the 6th inning. Now Jacob Stallings at the plate, and that ball gets past the catcher here, and the runners are going to move up to 2nd and 3rd. And that's going to be a passed ball, so the catcher can't handle it. And now Bradley and Corey Lee are at 2nd and 3rd, and there's a line drive by Stallings that's going to get down in the outfield. Bradley will score. Corey Lee is going to come around and score from second base. And Jacob Stallings with a big-time 2 RBI single to make it 6-2 Miami. As there's a slider, right down the middle of the plate, so good job taking advantage right there by Jacob Stallings. And a 4-run lead now for the Marlins, as there's a ground ball, and that is going to be a double play, as the Milwaukee Brewers really needed that, actually, at this point in the game, down by 4 runs. But, man, a big-time offensive showing, and I think 28 and 29 RBIs now on the season for Jacob Stallings. As here's Jazz Chisholm. He is 2 for 3 today, a double and a single already. See if he can add on here, 1 and 2. Ground ball, but it's to shortstop. And Orias, I believe, is a shortstop on this Brewers team. We'll throw it over to first base to end the inning, but another couple of runs right there by Miami. Marlins have this game in hand, it looks like here. San Alcantara still on the mound, and there's a swing and a miss. Taylor cannot hit that one, and Alcantara now with 7 strikeouts today. And that was a beautiful pitch right there by Alcantara. So with 93 pitches, this is number 94, Colton Wong at the dish, and he's going to fly it over to Cooper in left field, and Garrett Cooper makes the catch to end the 6th inning. So, man, another 0, and Alcantara only giving up 1 earned run here in 6 innings tonight. He's been excellent on the mound. Now here's Jorge Soler, as that's another cold strike 3 on a slider. That one high in the zone. No argument this time from Soler. As that'll finally end the night for Aaron Ashby. They bring up Brent Suter. 86 innings and a really good 3.14 ERA, actually, for Brent Suter this year out of the bullpen. And so Bobby Bradley up here. And Bradley is going to swing and miss at a high fastball there, way up there near his eyes. So not a good swing by Bradley. And nothing doing for Miami in this 7th. Now we go to the bottom half of the inning. Lorenzo Cain at the dish. And Cain is going to drop this ball into center field. And actually Sanchez does not play it correctly. And all the way to third base is going to go Cain. And he's going to be safe. Wow, and that's going to be a triple. That was a mistake right there by Jesus Sanchez, who just did not play that ball off of the bounce correctly. There's a 4-seam fastball for strike 3 to Peterson. The really good pitch by Alcantara for his 8th strikeout tonight. And, he's basically at, this is 100 pitches now for him on the day. Let's see if he can get through the 7th inning, maybe. Ground ball to Bobby Bradley at first. That will get the 2nd out of the inning, but that will score a 3rd Milwaukee run. So, at this point in this game, you're going to take the out for the run here. And it's now a 3-run lead for Milwaukee. Still looking for a completion of the 7th inning by Alcantara. He's got Yelich, who is 3 for 3 in this game. There's a ground ball, and it's right to Jazz Chisholm. And they're finally going to get Christian Yelich out. So that's a big out right there. And Sandy Alcantara, 7 innings. Gave up, 3 runs on 7 hits. Only 2 of them should be earned for him. But he should be getting the win in this one if the bullpen can hold on. Here's Richard Blair. And, excellent in 48.2 innings this year with a 1.48 ERA. He has been an excellent setup man. 32 holds this season for him. 2 down in the inning for Hunter Renfroe is over 3 in this one so far. 0-2 by Blair is a grounder. Really a slow chopper right back to Anthony Blair at the dish. Or there in front of the dish, and Blair will make the play. So that's a big 0 put up in the top of the 8th. Now we're going to go to the bottom half of the Justin Topa coming on out for the Brewers. This is their City Connect uniforms, by the way, for the Brew Crew. And I actually like these jerseys. I don't think there's really anything wrong with these uniforms. I think these are one of the more decent City Connect jerseys in the league, in my opinion. But now Jazz Chisholm is up, and Jazz Chisholm is going to swing through that sinker for strike 3. Good pitch by Topa, and waylaid on that one now. It's Torres Soler, and he is going to swing and miss again. Man, that's his 3rd strikeout today. So, you know, that's what's going to happen with Soler. He's going to strike out a decent amount, but now it's Garrett Cooper, and he's going to fly one, and it will be caught very early on that slider. And that will send us to the 9th. Here's Dylan Floro, a 2.35 ERA, looking for save number 45 here in his 54th opportunity this season. One down in the inning, and there's a line drive, and it's caught by Birdie. Now, I did not realize that it was a line drive, so I was trying to step on second base, but that is a line drive out, and now there's 2 down. One more here left for Milwaukee in this regular season in 2022. Here's Chase Peterson. It's coming down to him right here. 2-1 by Floro is a swing and a miss on a fastball outside. Now Miami 1 strike away. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It is swung on and missed, and strike 3 on a slider, or on a sinker, I think, outside there by Floro. So he will wrap up a save, a win for Sandy Alcantara, and the Marlins finish 2022 off with a victory. Their 89th of the season. And Dylan Floro gets save number 45 on the year. And that was a good win right there by Miami to finish the season off, a 6-3 victory in this one. And now, for the rest of the episode, we're going to look at some stats here of the season for everybody at the Major League level. Then, you know, we're going to look at, you know, awards and just league leaders as well. But the Marlins do end up splitting this 4-game set with the Brew Crew. And you get to look at the snapshot here. Bobby Bradley had a couple of home runs and 3 RBIs, of course. Jazz Chisholm was 2 for 5. And Jesus Sanchez also 2 for 5. Corey Lee, 1 for 2 with a run. Christian Yelich, definitely the player of the game for Milwaukee there. But now here is the look at the standings, and that's the standings at the end of the year. The Mets win the National League East with 94 victories. The Braves, who the Marlins will play in the wild card, 92 wins and 89 for Miami. The Cardinals win the National League Central with only 85 victories this season. And then looking at the National League West, there's the LA Dodgers. No surprise, they win the National League West with 103 games. That's the best record in baseball so far that we've seen. And the Marlins get that final wildcard spot by 3 games in total. But look at the American League East here. The Yankees and the Rays both finishing with 93 wins, 93 and 69. The Blue Jays, 91 and 71. They don't make the postseason. That's kind of crazy. And then the Red Sox also have 87 wins. They're not going to make the postseason either. So that was a crazy division there. The Guardians, this is a team that really caught me by surprise. They actually are the #1 seed in the American League, 103 wins for them. But then you look at the American League West and the Astros and the Angels, 98 and 64. The Mariners, 86 and 76, do not make the postseason, and the Athletics with 188 losses. But this is crazy. Nobody's actually really clinched the division except for the Guardians. So, you know, they're going to have to be 2 Game 163s played between those teams to determine who wins the division and who has to play in a wildcard game. So, viewing it today as games, yeah, you got 2 of them, Tampa Bay and New York, and Los Angeles and Houston. So, we're going to simulate these 2 games here. Let's see what happens and what the playoff field will eventually look like. As New York wins over Tampa Bay here in this one. Okay, final of 6-2. And we'll look at the box score really quickly here. New York with their 94th win this season here at 163 games. 2 RBIs by Megs Zunino. The Tampa Bay offense didn't really show up to play in this one, it seems. They got 2 runs in the first and nothing else the rest of the way. Judge got a big-time home run in Cabrera actually had 2 of them. And Jordan Montgomery, who finishes with a 2.68 ERA, 7 innings, he gets the win, 16-7 for him on the year record-wise. And then now, the Angels and the Astros, and it looks like Houston here gets the victory. They have 99 wins in 163 games, and they finish atop of the division here. Los Angeles drops this one. Ohtani gets a double in that one, a home run, 2 of them by Taylor Ward. But Houston with 7 runs in this game, 4 RBIs by Alex Bregman. So a 5-run bottom of the 8th inning. That was the key to the Houston victory in this one. Probably a grand slam by Alex Bregman, I would assume. Jesus Aguilar actually got a home run in that game too. And Aguilar, 270 average for him to finish the season. So he actually had a really good second half with the Astros. And he will be playing on a playoff team. So that's kind of cool that he will get a chance to be in the postseason. If by some miracle the Marlins make the World Series, well, we might end up seeing him in a potential World Series matchup. But that'll be the end of the season. So 89-73 is the record for the Marlins this year. And this is better than I thought we were going to do year one. I did not expect us to make the playoffs year one. I thought we were going to be about a 500 baseball team, most likely. But I did not see 89 wins coming. So the pitching was really excellent this year. On the offense, not too bad. But that's a look at the playoff bracket there, as you can see. But unfortunately, I don't know why the game does this, because I have everything on manual, so it shouldn't do this. But anyway, Corey Lee is in the minors, and he's not going to be able to be added to the playoff roster, which is, again, super annoying because I wanted to start on the playoff roster, but now I have an empty slot. So for some reason, the game just automatically called him down, and then they called up Jose Devers, which is not smart. I don't understand why they did that. I don't want Jose Devers up right now in the major leagues. He's a 68 overall, so I don't really understand the management there by the computer. I don't know why they did that. But anyway, Brian Anderson is going to be in the lineup, I guess, for the postseason, so that's unfortunate there. But I can't really control that, unfortunately. The computer just did it. 13th in batting average this year. We're looking at team rankings here. 13th in batting average is not too terrible. They're middle of the pack. 221 batting average by the Athletics. Actually, the Rangers were also really low there, which is interesting. I'm kind of surprised by that. But 21st in runs, so not great. This offense was about middle of the road all season. 12th in hits. And towards the bottom third in doubles. 22nd in doubles. Triples, we probably didn't have a whole lot of triples this season. 19th with 31 on the season. And then home runs, we might have been decent there. Yeah, 11th in home runs, 194 in total. That's not really that bad. But first was the Yankees with 242. Second was the Braves there. And then runs batted in, 767 for the Padres, who did not make the postseason. So they were first in RBIs, but we were 20th in RBIs. And definitely Horace Soler led us in that category with 107. But yeah, so only 492 for the A's. So yeah, the offense definitely, middle of the road. Not anything super special or crazy from our offense. 23rd in stolen bases with 87. John Breed led the way there for us. And then walks, we were bottom third here. It looks like, yeah, tied for 21st. Strikeouts, it goes by the most strikeouts, and yeah, we were striking out quite a bit. 27th there, 134, I think that said, was our team leader. Slugging percentage was just about middle of the road. On base percentage, we finished with, bottom 21st with on base of the 313. Only Horace Soler led their team with 331, so the batting average wasn't great. We were first in assists, though, which is kind of cool, I guess. But then ERA, so the Guardians were first in team ERA. That kind of explains why they were so good this year, as we were 11th. Okay, so not amazing, not top 10, but not bad either. Second was the Blue Jays there. Man, an under 3 team ERA is kind of nuts. That's actually kind of insane. But we were 6 complete games. Pablo Lopez had 3 of them. Cesar Sanchez actually had a couple of complete games, which is interesting. We were tied for 8th in shutouts with 15. We were pretty good in saves, it seems. Yeah, 55. Tied for 5th there. 45 from Dylan Floro. And then a few sprinkled from other guys. Blown saves, we were not that bad. Actually, only, 21st from blown save. That's not bad at all. Dylan Floro finished with 9 of them this season. Hits allowed, we were top 10, tied for 9th, which is good. Runs allowed, we were 10th. Okay, so, top 10. I mean, taking it to top 10, and they're tied. We allowed the least amount of home runs this season with 139. That's really impressive, actually. Proud of that number. Walks, 15, so exactly middle of the road there with walks allowed. Didn't strike out a lot of guys. Yeah, I mean, 161 was our team leader, and we were bottom of the pack there in that department. 10th with winning percentage. But that's kind of a look at team rankings there. And, we were about middle of the pack in a lot of the stuff. We were a little bit better pitching-wise, but, we were definitely not amazing in really anything. But we were pretty solid across the board, which is definitely, which definitely helped us reach the postseason. So John Birdie, 308 at-bats for him this season, 15 doubles, only 7 home runs and 21 RBIs. Didn't have that great of a year. Now, I don't know why Jesus Sanchez's stats here are not the same as they actually are. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know why his stats are like that. But anyway, his attributes, though, were really, really increasing this year. +8 to contact versus lefties. It actually decreased a little bit in power versus lefties. But, 29 home runs, or I think it was 28 for him. But, those are good numbers for him this season for sure. This is definitely better than what I expected him to do. But, yeah, 28 home runs, 76 ribbies, a 262 average. We'll definitely take that. So, don't know how much Jazz Chisholm really improved or not this season because, again, I changed his ratings at the beginning of the year. But this is actually a step down for him in basically every aspect. He did have 30 doubles, which is not bad. But, the less home runs, less RBIs, a little bit more walks, a little bit less strikeouts, but worse average and on base. And, only a 687 OPS. His potential did actually decrease, so that's unfortunate. But Jorge Soler had a wonderful season, 41 homers. That's his second most in his career, behind his 2019 season that he had. But 258 average, 332 on base, 844 slugging, 41 dingers, and 107 ribbies, 22 doubles. I mean, that is a really good season right there by Jorge Soler. So, at 30 years old, I think we still have him for 3 more years or so. But a 2.0 WAR player for us this year. And, yeah, definitely the MVP of our offense. For sure. It'll be interesting to see where he kind of ends up leader-wise. Only his second time in his career with over 100 ribbies. Garrett Cooper, pretty decent. That's not bad. I didn't expect him to do really anything crazy. And, he was pretty good. Only 36 walks, so only a 329 on base. 278 average, 19 home runs, and 63 ribbies. I mean, career high in home runs for him. Career high in ribbies. So, really, you look at it a career year. Jorge Soler also, by the way, went up 11 in his contact versus lefty ratings and didn't go down in his power at all, which is really good to see. So there's JJ Bleday, +9 in contact versus lefties and +4. And, his power numbers, +3 to his fielding ratings basically across the board. So a good year of growth by JJ Bleday this season. 74 overall now for him ratings wise. But yeah, overall the season for him in terms of statistics did not go really that great. 178 at bats for him, only 38 hits, 6 doubles, and 5 home runs, 18 ribbies. So yeah, not a great year statistically. I don't know what to really do with him. I think I will have him, play this next season and to be in the farm system. I don't know if I'll have him start next year in the Major League level or if I'll keep him in the minors for a little bit longer. But Bobby Bradley had an excellent campaign. +8 and +9 to his contact ratings, +7 to his power ratings. I mean, those are incredible increases. And he only played in 161 at-bats this season. But in that time, he had 43 hits, 12 doubles, 7 triples, or 7 doubles and a triple, 29 RBIs, a 333 on base, and a 547 slugging with an 880 OPS, a 1.5 WAR. So, yeah, Bobby Bradley really showed me something in his 2 months that he was playing up here for us, and he's definitely going to be our starting first baseman moving forward. Brian Anderson, a 341 on base is actually not too terrible for him. He did go up against righties. Apparently, he hit righties pretty well this season. 78 hits and 321 at bats, 6 homers and 25 RBIs there. So not an amazing season, not bad either. Jacob Stallings, again, he got hurt at some point this year and pretty early on in the year, so he has a lot less at bats. Plus 11 though to Connor versus lefties. That's incredible. Love to see that. But yeah, only 80 hits, 310 at bats for him. Only 6 home runs and 20 ribbies at 305 on base. So not an amazing season by Jacob Stallings. And, he is arbitration eligible. I don't know what I'll do with him. I think I'll probably give him arbitration going into 2023. But I think kind of next year is going to be my test year for him. Like, if he does not improve a lot more, and if he doesn't really do if he doesn't improve, I don't know if I'm going to want to keep him around after his arbitration year is up going into next year. Unfortunately, that contract there from Vito Garcia, we're just going to deal with it, which is annoying. I don't know how we're going to unload that contract, but either way, our bench guys were not great. Again, Jose Devers, I don't know why he's in the major leagues right now, but he's not ready to play just quite yet. But here we go on to the starting pitching, and we're going to look at this now. And our ace of our staff was Pablo Lopez, and he was really incredible. Again, we gave him an extension, and so in real life he did leave the Marlins, and in real life, but we did give him an extension, so he's going to be with the team for a little while. And 207 innings pitched this year, 1.61 or 2.65 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, and 161 strikeouts. A good 3.41 FIP for him. I mean, that's a good season. That is definitely what we wanted to see from him. He was great. Sandy Alcantara was also great this year. 215 innings for him, a 2.93 ERA, and a 1.20 WHIP. He had 20 quality starts and 33 starts this year. And, I mean, he improved quite a bit. Look at that, +5, +4, +2. Now, he is only B potential, so he might not get a whole lot better. But this is kind of a career year for him. This is the most innings that he's pitched in his career. This is actually the lowest ERA he's ever been. So, career year right here by Sandy Alcantara. He had a great improvement in his ratings. Love to see that. And Luis Hernandez, 167 innings for him in the long relief role. And a 3.54 ERA. Not bad. I'm okay with that as his long reliever for us. Trevor Rogers, meanwhile, a decent season. 192 innings for him and a 3.93 ERA with a 1.36 WHIP. 20 quality starts in 32 games. So, yeah, overall, Trevor Rogers did not have a bad season at all. That's not bad. I will take that. And, he improved quite a bit, +5. And both his walk and his home run ratings, he's going to be really good. I mean, he's only 24 years old, and he's already at 83 overall. Sixto Sanchez, kind of struggled a little bit. 4.22 ERA. I mean, +2 and +3. Actually went down in his home run per 9, though. He's only 23 years old. He'll be back on the team going into next year. But, I might have to prove me a little something, and I will look for improvement for him going into next year. But, he did give up 1.27 home run per 9 this season. That's definitely a little bit of a concerning statistic. And then Jesus Luzardo, I mean, he struggled this year. And, I mean, honestly, I look at our farm system, and we got some really good pitchers in our farm system right now. We have, of course, Max Meyer and Edward Cabrera. But then we also have Yuri Perez, who, in real life is actually pitching for the Marlins. In this game, he's 18 years old, and he's not ready yet for the major leagues. But we have him, and then we drafted a pitcher that was a really good pitcher as well in their draft. So we got a lot of pitchers here, and we are kind of loaded up on that position, which does maybe leave room for a Jesus Luzardo trade. I'm open to doing that. Anthony Bass in our bullpen here, was one of our best bullpen guys. 74 innings, 56 strikeouts, a 2.42 ERA, and a 1.06 WHIP, a 1.3 WAR for him. And I mean, everybody in this bullpen was really low in terms of giving up home runs. It just did not happen. But Anthony Bass did decline a little bit in K per 9, but did improve in home run per 9 because he didn't really give up many homers. So he is 34 years old. He's going to not really improve anymore at this point in his career. But, I mean, I'll definitely keep him around for another season. There's Dylan Floro, and, man, 58 innings for him, a 2.31 ERA, 15 runs allowed, and 58 innings for him, a sub-1 WHIP. And so definitely was one of our better guys out of the bullpen. He was absolutely excellent. 10 walks in 50 innings for him. Didn't really move that much in terms of his ratings, just stayed mainly the same. I did give him an extension as well, so he's going to be with the team going into next year. I think this bullpen, for the most part, is pretty much set. I don't really want to, not a lot of the guys in our bullpen are going to be free agents. I don't really think anybody is. So, we're going to maybe move on. We're probably going to move on from Zach Pop. I don't need to sign him for arbitration again. He wasn't good this season. So I'll move on from Zach Pop this season. But, everybody else is going to probably stay in this bullpen. Tanner Scott was excellent. 35 innings for him. Kind of a lefty specialist. But a 2.04 ERA, 8 runs allowed in 35 innings for him. A really good 9.42 K per 9, actually. 37 strikeouts for him. And, 27 years old, really good increases across the board. And, I mean, compared to his season last year, this was an absolutely dramatic improvement for him. And then Cole Sulser, not bad, not amazing, not terrible. A 3.92 ERA for him this season. He was about the same in ratings. And then you go to Richard Blair, and Richard Blair was unreal, just unbelievable as our setup man this season. 49.2 innings, 16 strikeouts. So, doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, but does not allow runs. I mean, he just does his job. 33 holds and only 8 runs given up all year. So, went up in home run per 9, went down in K per 9, which I'm not really worried about. His walk per 9 is really, really good. I mean, he's going to be in our bullpen for the next couple of seasons. And, I mean, he was good last year, but this is a career year for him. This is like the most innings that he's pitched since 2017 with Baltimore. But, I mean, this season is even better, ERA and whip-wise. So this is a career year by Richard Blair right here. 6 walks and 49.2 innings for him. That is pretty incredible. So, and then Anthony Bender, 25 innings for him this season. Yeah, not an amazing sample size. He wasn't the best in those innings, but wasn't awful either. And then we go, I don't know where where did our closers go? Dylan Floro, we didn't really look at, I don't know if we looked at his stats. But anyway, this is what I'm talking about with our farm system. Edgar Cabrera went up by 6 in his walk and home run per 9. I mean, I'm going to give him a shot in spring training. I don't know if he'll be on the opening day roster going into next year, but I think I'll certainly give him a fair shake in a spring training, and I do really like where he's at in his ratings. I think that walk per 9 number is a little low, but then we also have Max Meyer, who, is a 68 overall, and he went up by a pretty decent amount too. So those two guys, both of them, will be competing for, a spot in the roster. I think I'm going to have one of those two at least be on the team next year, and we'll see how they do in spring training. But that really means that we got to figure out what we want to do with our pitchers. And then again, Yuri Perez is only 18, so he will probably he'll probably start pitching in Double-A, probably move up to Triple-A at some point in the season. I think he was really good in Double-A, actually. I don't know his stats, but he's 67 overall, and he's only 18, so he's only going to be 19 going into next year. So, he's a guy to look forward to. I mean, the point is, and, again, we drafted an A potential pitcher in the draft last year. The point is, we are really stacked at starting pitching right now. We don't need a lot of starting pitching help. And Jesus Luzardo and, even Sixto Sanchez, those two guys didn't really perform the way that we wanted them to. So I am definitely open to maybe moving on from, I know that those guys are so young, but I want to make room for the young guys to be called up and make their appearances. As Jordan Holloway, 12.1 innings for him. This season, he was a September call-up guy, and he was really good. Only gave up 1 run in that time. And so I want Jordan Holloway to be part of this bullpen next year. So that does mean that I want to move on from, Zach Pop. But Corey Lee here went up, went up by 6 in his power versus lefties there. So he went up a pretty decent amount. He's going to be our starting third baseman going into next year. And, 22 games, 76 at-bats, and 21 hits, and, a few RBIs. So not an overall, not a bad year, and not a bad showcase by Corey Lee in his major league time. So he's definitely going to get a shot and be our starter next year there in the infield. And again, when we're looking at Jose Devers, went up +8, +6, and +7 in those ratings. Those are really good. I think he's still a few years away, though. And then Khalil Watson, man, +12, +10. He had some great increases this season. And he is only 18. He's only, this is really a first professional season, but he's a potential guy. So Khalil Watson is also a couple of years away at this point, but he is also on the cusp of making an impact on our team. And those are guys that we definitely focus on probably a bit more than I did going into year 2 because, I kind of pictured them a couple of times in the season, but not a whole bunch. But now we go to the awards, and, no surprise, Ronald Acuna Jr. is there, and he wins the National League MVP with 48 homers and a .292 average. Pete Alonso is here as well, 40 home runs for him. Rafael Devers gets the American League MVP, a .309 average, 36 homers, and 107 RBIs. Now, he is just incredible. 43 homers for Aaron Judge. And then Shohei Ohtani, 18-7 record, 2.4 ERA, 236 strikeouts. Yeah, he is the Cy Young Award winner. And, realistically, if they paired his pitching numbers, sub-1 whip, that's incredible. Yeah, he is just an absolute beast. And he finished this season, what was his WAR? I don't actually see it. But he also finished this season with 29 home runs and 73 RBIs at the plate. A 3.1 WAR hitting. So actually his offensive numbers weren't, amazing, all things considered. The fact that he's pitching on that high level and that he's hitting that well is absolutely insane. So it's man, Alek Manoah, though, actually crazy. Wow, 2.17 ERA by Alek Manoah there for Toronto. That is a really good season right there. So, but anyway, Shohei Ohtani, the fact that he can pair that amazing pitching with any offense at all is incredible. And then over in the National League side of things, Corbin Burnes wins the Cy Young, 17-6, 2.86 ERA, and 215 strikeouts. Yeah, I don't know. Max Scherzer kind of went off again this season. Man, -11 in those stats. That's a little unfortunate. But a 2.6 ERA for him. He was kind of crazy. Manny Machado with 30 dingers this season. Man, really good numbers right there for Trey Turner. Taylor Ward, that's kind of a surprising player, but he does well in franchise, it seems. Batted .331 this year and actually finished as the batting champion. And then Adley Rutschman and Josh Naylor popped off this year. Adley Rutschman, the Rookie of the Year, look at those increases. +13 and +10. He had a near 400 on-base percentage, a .922 OPS, and a 6.1 WAR. That is an incredible rookie season. Emmanuel Clase, 53 saves for the Guardians, and yeah, he's probably the best closer in the league right now. That's ridiculous. A .73 whip. Maiso Iglesias, 11 runs in 60 innings. He was ridiculous. And then Andrew Kittredge had a crazy season 2, 51 saves for him, and a sub-1 whip. Giovanni Gallegos, actually, so I'm going to take that back because Giovanni Gallegos had the best year out of anybody in the closer role. He had 51 saves and no blown saves this season. 4 runs allowed. He had a higher whip than an ERA. That is unbelievable. That's one of the best seasons I've ever seen from a rookie in this game. That is ridiculous. 51 saves, no blown saves the entire year. I believe the record for most saves in a row without blowing one is 70-something. So a little bit off from that, but that is unreal. That is a crazy season from Giovanni Gallegos. Craig Kimbrell and Taylor Rogers are also very good, but, I mean, nobody was better than Giovanni Gallegos this season. That is insane. And then O'Neill Cruz wins Rookie of the Year in the National League. Went up by a pretty decent margin, and, I mean, overall, not really an amazing season by O'Neill Cruz, but not really anybody else. I mean, Alek Tomas was okay, batting 260 there. 302 on base, 17 home runs, and 60 ribbies for him. And then Seth Beer was also a rookie this year, and actually had very similar numbers to Tomas. But, yeah, obviously, Adley Rutschman won Rookie of the Year. On the American League side, Jeremy Pena had a really good season as well, looked like there. And then Julio Rodriguez, a little bit disappointing, actually. I don't know if he was at the beginning of the season called up, but only 11 home runs and 44 ribbies for him. Mike Trout wins the Hank Aaron Award. Not really surprised there. Kind of a low average RBI total for him, though, this season. And already went down by 10 in his ratings. That is annoying. I do not like that. But Aaron Judge also was there in the running. And then Hank Aaron Award in the National League went to Manny Machado. Fielding there, Gold Gloves. We did get a Gold Glove from by Jazz Chisholm here. I believe that's his first of his career. So we did get one award on the Marlins side of things this season. But Silver Slugger for catcher, Will Smith. Not really a surprise for the Dodgers, batting 261, 30 homers, and 106 RBIs. Dalton Varsho wasn't bad. Tyler Stevenson actually wasn't bad either for the Reds. And then Salvador Perez, batting only 210, but had 30 home runs and 76 RBIs this season, wins the Silver Slugger over Adley Rutschman. Now Salvador Perez has won it 3 years in a row. That's kind of impressive. And then Ryan Mountcastle, 263 average, and he had a lot of dingers this season. That is an impressive year. 37 homers. Trey Mancini also had a really good year, 305 average for him with 93 RBIs. And then Anthony Rizzo also had a good season. Pete Alonso wins it for the first baseman in the National League. CJ Cron also was great. 40 home runs for him this year. And then Brandon Belt had a crazy season. 30 home runs for him. Jake Cronenworth gets plus 14 boost to kind of versus lefties. Okay, that's kind of nuts. He wins it for second base. Jonathan India, okay, had a good season right there, building off of a solid Rookie of the Year campaign, and he responded by improving. That's good for the Reds there. Ozzy Albies in the running as well. Jose Altuve wins it in the American League with, a 272 average for him. Andres Jimenez, actually, that's kind of a surprising player there in that running. Matthew Devers, and then Jose Ramirez was also there. 37 home runs for Ramirez this year. I think you can kind of see why the Guardians were so good this season. They have a lot of guys right here in the running for a lot of these awards, it seems, right now. So they definitely had a really good year, and you can tell because they are well represented in award season right now. And then Alex Bregman is also there with, 31 home runs for him on the season. And then you go to shortstop. Tim Anderson wins it in the National or the American League. 29 home runs and 94 RBIs for him. Xander Bogaerts, though, was right on his tail. Very kind of similar numbers except for the RBIs. And then J.P. Crawford was also there. That's a good surprise. And Willie Adames does win an award in the National League here. We just faced him, of course. 30 home runs and 96 RBIs for him. Actually, I don't think he was starting in the finale of the year because I don't remember seeing his name, but maybe he was. Either way, in the outfield, it's Ronald Acuna Jr. Chris Bryant is there. I mean, I wish he could do something like that in real life for the Rockies. Brian Buxton is here as well. 253 average. Managed to stay healthy all year. 30 home runs, 92 RBIs for him. George Springer had a really good season. Jesus Sanchez was there in the running for the National League in the outfield Silver Slugger. That's good to see. Brandon Nimmo had a crazy season, 98 RBIs, a 424 on base percentage for Brandon Nimmo with 91 walks, I think that said. That's crazy. 4.5 WAR. He is a really good player in this game. And yeah, Sanchez is there in the running. And then Nelson Cruz. How about this? I mean, a 41-year-old guy, he absolutely tanked at his ratings, but he had an incredible year. 31 homers and 96 RBIs. That's his highest RBI total since, a few years back. That is nuts. But either way, let's look at some league leaders here. You got Yanio Hernandez. Okay, that's a surprising player there with a 304 average this year. But a lot of the guys that we've already seen, Nolan Arenado finishes with a 291 average. Adley Rutschman is number 2 in that rating. That is crazy. Luis Urias, 407 on base for him this season. He is just insane about getting on base. Xander Bogaerts is there as well, of course. And then you go to hits. Leading the league is Machado and JD Martinez. Trey Turner there second. Only 17 home runs and 66 RBIs for Trey Turner, which are kind of low for him. But, I mean, he got on base like crazy. Jonathan VR is there in at-bats. Doubles, 44 for Mike Trout, 39 for Taylor Ward. So 2 Angels there at the top of the list. And Amed Rosario had a really good season as well. I think everybody in the Guardians lineup was just popping off this year, apparently, because they have a lot of guys up here on the top of their batting order. Nico Horner had 40 doubles. That's pretty impressive. Chris Bryant led the league with 51. Brian Reynolds, pretty good year for him. 15 home runs for him for the Pirates. 10 triples by Ronald Acuna Jr. That's really impressive right there. Michael Chavis had 7 there. Brandon Marsh and Byron Buxton both had 11. And then Andres Jimenez, another Cleveland Guardian, there with 9 of them this season. Teoscar Hernandez had 8. That's kind of interesting. 43, Aaron Judge led the league, or the American League, at least in home runs. Giancarlo Stanton was right behind him. George Springer there. JD Martinez at 39 was there. Joey Gallo was also there, plus 12 and plus 9. Man, okay. Wow, 258 average and a 388 on base. So he got on base really well this season, actually, for New York. That's a really good season right there by Joey Gallo. And, 76 or 95 walks. That's really good. Actually, he doesn't do a bad job walking, I guess. He walked 111 times last year. But there's Ronald Acuna Jr. there first, and then Jorge Soler second in National League home run total with 41. So that's really good and impressive. Plus 9 to Juan Soto statistics. Yeah, he had a pretty good year there, over 100 hits. I think he got hurt, it seems. Yeah, he did. So that's incredible. Like, he only played in 97 games, and he had those numbers. That's ridiculous. So he got hurt at some point this year, and he still had 32 home runs and 72 ribbies. Wow, how about that? And then Jonathan India there with 31. And no other Marlins here are near the top of that list. And so Jorge Soler also finishes second in terms of RBIs. So he's tied. He ends up the season tied with Manny Machado for second place. So yeah, I mean, Jorge Soler was actually just amazing in really every statistical category. So, I mean, how about this season from Daniel Vogelbach, though? This is a good, what? And that's crazy. 132 hits, 30 home runs, and 96 RBIs, 93 walks, a 375 on base. And, I mean, that is crazy. How did Daniel Vogelbach do that? That is one of the best seasons I've ever seen Daniel Vogelbach have in franchise. That's ridiculous. George Springer had 110 ribbies in the American League. Judge and Ward also had 100 RBIs. Buxton with 92. Hunter Dozier with 89. Okay, below 300 on base, but had a lot of RBIs in this season. Naylor is there with 88. Vladdy, overall, not an amazing season. Not really what we're used to seeing from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, only 30 home runs, 81 RBIs. The average is at 238, and the on base is only at 323. So it's still a good year from Vladdy, but it's really not anything like he was the year before, and a kind of a disappointing year, all things considered. Austin Meadows had a really good season there. And stolen bases, 55 for Trey Turner. That's crazy. 41 actually is also crazy. I didn't see who had those 41 stolen bases, but Kevin Biggio leading the National American League in walks. That's pretty impressive there. 441 on base percentage for Manny Machado. That leads the National League. I mean, he had 107 or 108 walks to only 78 strikeouts this season. That is incredible. Wow. So, I mean, he increased his walk total by almost 50, actually, there it seems, I think. Over 40 in, the span of one season, and had an over 1 OPS. That's like a career year right there for Manny Machado. Actually, it is. It's his highest WAR that he's ever had. That's a career season right there by Manny Machado. That's impressive. Chris Taylor had a 410 on-base percentage over the course of the season. Acuna, 386. Daniel Vogelbach, number 6 in on-base percentage. I still can't get over that. 418 on base for Taylor Ward. 415 for Mike Trout. And another guy, Luis Arias, over 400. But man, Kevin Biggio there, number 4 on base. And Joey Gallo, number 6, is impressive. Mike Trout, Aaron Judge up there for slugging percentage. And then 641 slugging for Ronald Acuna Jr. That is unbelievable. But Manny Machado does beat him out just barely in terms of OPS. So that's interesting. And then only one guy in the American League had an over 1 OPS. Not surprised that it's Mike Trout who did that. I mean, he just has an over 1 OPS basically every year. And then we go to wins, and Manoah and Bieber tied with 19. Jordan Montgomery for the Yankees had 16 wins and a really good season. Joe Musgrove led the National League with 17. I mean, those numbers, like the wins and the losses, don't really mean all that much because it's a lot of it is under the pitcher's control or out of the pitcher's control. I mean, Class A, 53 saves. Scott Barlow had 48 of them. Presley had 47. Dylan Tate with 41. And then Gallegos with 51 and 0 blown saves. Dylan Floro finishes with 45, and that is good for third in the National League. So top 3 finish right there by Dylan Floro. That's really good. But National League ERA leader is actually Aaron Nola with a 2.58. Walker Buehler with 2.60. Max Scherzer 2.60. And then Pablo Lopez sitting at number 4 with a 2.65 ERA. Anthony Descalfani is way up here. That is a interesting stat line and a really good season by Descalfani. Jacob deGrom, he had a good season. He had a lot of strikeouts too, I would assume. Taijuan Walker is up there at a 2.91 ERA. Sandy Alcantara finishes 12th, so top 15. Madison Bumgarner actually had a good year. Bill Kelly, Zach Thompson at the top of the list here. Kyle Freeland actually had a pretty good season for the Rockies. That's good to see. And then Haiyan Ryu led the league in the American League. He got hurt a little bit, so he missed about 5 or 6 starts, I think, this season. But he still had a ridiculous season. Only 42 runs given up in 181 innings. A 2.08 ERA and a 1.01 whip. So, yeah, Haiyan Ryu was nasty this year for sure. 4.4 WAR. And then Luis Garcia, actually really good numbers. He finishes with 2.15 ERA, okay. Manoah there with that 2.17 ERA. Zach Plesac finishes with a 2.22 ERA. So, man, the National League pitchers, or the American League pitchers, really good. Kevin Gausman, a 2.32 ERA. Ohtani there, Bieber there. Drew Rasmussen with a 2.57. Rich Hill with the 2.62. Sonny Gray with the 2.63. I mean, you got to go all the way to 19th before you get somebody that had an over 3 ERA. That is really crazy, actually. And so a lot of good seasons by the American League staff this year. Julio Urias had 7 shutouts for the Dodgers. 217 strikeouts, led the league as Max Scherzer, actually, but led the entire league with Shohei Ohtani. Dylan Cease was there, number 2. Good season by him. 7 complete games, 9 for Urias. 225 innings pitched, led the league for Walker Buehler. And then Shane Bieber led the league in innings pitched with 235.1 over in the American League. 33 walks allowed by DeGrom, only 1.4 whip by Burns, 1.5 by Walker and Urias. Pablo Lopez there sitting at number 8. And then in the American League, 5 guys with a sub-1 whip. That is unreal. Wow, 2.80. Nestor Cortez was nasty this season as well. 6.1 pitching WAR for Ohtani, plus his 3.4 hitting WAR. He had a 9.5 WAR combined this year. 5.2 pitching WAR for Max Scherzer. Okay, really, really good numbers there. 10.2 pitching WAR overall for Ronald Acuna Jr. That's incredible. Mike Trout had an 8.8 WAR. Of course, he led the league, American League in WAR overall, and that's kind of a look at the stats there, and that's a look at the stats around the league leaders, and all that. So, all that being said, that's the matchup that we're going to have in the next episode of this franchise. We'll go back to the custom league for a little bit before we start the playoffs. But either way, next time you're going to tune into a Marlins game will be the wild card against the Atlanta Braves. Max Fried on the mound for Atlanta. You've been listening to Lucas from Mars. Guys, remember to subscribe so you are notified of when I continue to come out with new videos. I hope you enjoyed the Miami Marlins regular season year 1. We'll have about a couple, 3 or 4 playoff episodes, depending on how long we go, obviously. But thank you guys for watching. You've been listening to Lucas from Mars. Have a great day, everybody, and God bless.